Hey everybody, and welcome back. In this video, we're going to talk about a multitude of different things. Everything from Pete Cowan's spiral staircase to rotation to the reason that we're getting the cup in the golf swing, and it is not what you think. It is not what you think. Okay, so this is going to be a very lengthy video in comparison to everything else. So make sure you watch the whole thing because this is absolutely going to help your game. But before we get into it, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification bells, all that stuff, because it's really going to help the channel grow and it'll help you get notified when I put new content out. Okay, so let's get into this. Right now, everybody thinks, or at least the way that Mr. Cowan is teaching it to everybody thinks that the spiral staircase is moving up, okay? So what that would look like is it's spiraling from the ground and it's coming up. So it's spiraling from the ground and it's coming up, okay? That, in principle, is a really good idea, okay? However, it's not correct. It's not correct at all. It's kind of correct for the modern swing, but it is not correct for what Mr. Hogan was doing and what you should be doing. Okay? Because what you should be doing, instead of having this spiral go up, it should be moving back and around you. Because again, think about the concentric circles. So if the concentric circles are like this, going around my body all the way up, if now we're talking about the spiral staircase. So if I've got all these spirals going up, then that's not a good thing, because I'm not, the way the modern swing is being taught, it's spiral up, lift the hands up, drop the hands down, and try to spiral through. It's not going to work. It's absolutely not going to work. Okay? And then people compound that by not spiraling the forearm, okay? Or the left forearm, or the lead forearm, if you want to get into it that way. So what do I mean? If people are spiraling their body up, and watch this left arm. I'm going to keep my hand on this left arm. So what they do is when they're spiraling it up, this left arm, our lead arm, is pretty much doing this type of stuff. So they're trying to spiral, and then they do this type of stuff. So there's no spiral in this arm. Now I'm going to get to that. Like I said, this is going to be a lengthy video. Okay, so let's start with the spiral staircase. Instead of it going up, spiraling up, where this gets here, and it looks like my back is leaning over here, but it's not. I'm staying centered. So it's like, oh, okay, cool, that's it. But it's not up. It's got to be back, like if the golf ball's in front of us up here, right? So the golf ball's in front of us up here, right? So now, instead of it going up, it has to be spiraling back. And you'll see what I mean, that it has to be spiraling back away from the ball. And you will be like, wow, this is really, really cool. So instead of it going spiraling up, it has to be spiraling back. And then in the downswing, watch what happens. It will spiral back away from the ball, because if it spirals the way it's being taught, they go spiral up. Let me get this hand in a better place. They're spiraling up, and then all of a sudden it's going to be spiral down, but you've got to pull down. And what most people do instinctually, they go this way because they're thinking they want to rotate. So now I've spiraled this and come around. Okay, now remember what I said. This right arm, the left arm, sorry about that. This lead arm has to spiral too. So what do I mean? Watch this. So if we're spiraling back away from the ball, we're not spiraling vertically, we're spiraling back away from the ball. So if I just let this left arm go like this into these traditional kind of setting of the cocking of the wrist and then get to the top, there's no rotation in this lead arm. So rotation, and what I'm talking about right now, is going to be the spiral. So I want you to do something. When you move this club away, we get to here, we haven't done anything, we still got the cup, all the stuff I've been talking about. But when you get here, I want you to spiral your hand like this. And now because my body is spiraling and I can feel the connection in my feet to the ground. So now that the arm is spiraling, aha, look what it just created, the cup. I didn't try to create the cup. This is trying to create the cup in this vertical hinge is just, it's a terrible thought. And that's why in the modern swing, people are like, well, if you get this cup at the top because you're setting it up with no rotation or spiraling of the lead forearm, this is a very bad place to be for the way that the modern swing gets taught. It's horrible. Now, however, for the modern swing, which we are absolutely not doing on this channel, for the modern swing, this would be a train wreck. Because again, you haven't spiraled this. But in the way that I'm teaching the swing here, with a lot of Mr. Hogan's principles behind it and understanding, you're able to not only spiral the body with great rotation, which we're going to get into here in a couple of minutes, you're going to, look what it did. And I'm spiraling this forearm and hand and everything. So all of a sudden I'm here and then I spiral. And the second I spiral, now there is a spiral connection between the arm structure here and the spiraling or coiling of the body. So they have a relationship with each other. And because this is spiraling, look at how much better I'm going to get here to the takeaway. Now I'm going to spiral from this point, I'm going to spiral. And look what just happens to my body. So it's not me trying to turn my body out of the way. It's just keep spiraling back away from the ball. And because I'm spiraling this whole lead arm, which my hand is now touching the club, look at how my body just got out of the way at this point. So all of a sudden it's like I'm here, spiral, bam, I'm right there every time. Now from here, I'm just going to keep turning. See this? Because this spiral is so intact, as I let the hands go around me, look what's happening to my body. This is what we have to understand. Pete Cowan, great coach. Great coach for the modern golf swing, all those wonderful things. However, for what we are doing, the spiral does not work up and down. It works back and around. Because again, we're dealing with concentric circles, at least the way that Mr. Hogan saw it, right? So if we're here and we can say, reference, this is my spine. Let me put it back here like this. So if I'm here to the end of the takeaway and I'm spiraling up this spiral staircase, look at what this does to most players. I'm here, so I'm spiraling. I've come up because I'm spiraling up. Watch the angle change in my spine. Up. So if something goes up, it has to come down. So they teach it this way. So now all of a sudden, let's do it the way they're doing it. Spiral up, no rotation or spiraling of this forearm, and let's go up. So now all of a sudden I've got to, most people come down. See, look at the angle of this, how steep this is. So all of a sudden they're coming down, and it's hard for me to do it wrong, but they get here, spiral up. Now they're going to come, there it is. Now they're coming in so steep to this ball from this position that they, it's kind of a crapshoot to make it work. Now, if we can understand how this is going to spiral around us because of this going here, we've all seen Hogan when he's doing the waggle, right? This arm comes in, this arm rotates. That's the waggle. Watch it close. And what that'll look like from this perspective, you will see how this left arm and left elbow start pointing to the target, right? So it's just kind of, there's the waggle. Doing it. Right arm's coming in, left arm is rotating or spiraling, and that gets us into the takeaway, right? So this is what he's feeling in the waggle. Now, okay, to understand this spiral of how these connections are made, we have to understand that here it is. Now from here, this is going to spiral, like it's spiraling into the ground. So when it's spiraling into the ground, look what it just did. And then when I get to the top, everybody's like, oh my God, that club face is open. But that club face, if I just turn it down, I'm not going to do anything with this club head. I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to make these moves. Look how it's square to the arc. So open club face, and what we're doing makes it coming down square to the arc. In the modern swing, if they have no spiral, they pick the club straight up, and then they're like, okay, this club would be open because I have a cup that's been manufactured. So when I pull it down and go this way, look how that club head is wide open to the arc. So in the modern swing, this picking up and dropping it down, this cup gets a very bad name because in their swing, this is the absolute worst position you could be in their swing. In our swing, because it is a really good understanding, the spiral staircase is not up. It is back and away from the ball. Remember, Mr. Hogan, if you could just think of and do everything opposite of what you think the golf swing should be, you'd have a really good swing. He's right, because the ball is in front of me. We're not moving laterally like some of these guys talk about. We're moving the opposite of there is back here, is back. Then when I'm coming down, the opposite of right there is back. So you're able to stay inside of your feet and have this incredible balance. Because when you do it right, I've spiraled back. And I am so deep into this transition at the top, or this position at the top, which isn't a position. It is dynamic movement that we are moving into the top of the backswing so we can move out of the top of the backswing. So this spiraling is simple. Here, there, and through. Now, the other thing to understand here is pretty simple. Most people, this is like bonus material, most people, when they come up to the top, and let me do it 100% this way. So when I'm at the top, most people start turning. And see how, if I could put, see how I'm on my chest right here, and I've got my arm out. So most people go this way. So see how the hands are staying in line with that, okay? But what you have to understand, and this is going to clean up your ball striking instantly. So instead of my hands following the same path as my shoulder, let your hands follow your rib cage. Follow when you're coming here and you're trying to pull your hands down and you come over the top and all this stuff. Well, start understanding the hands, let them drop to the same level as the rib cage. Then as you're coming through, here it comes, boom, right there. So that's bonus number one, okay? But it is the spiraling staircase is not up, it is back. And then it's the spiraling of the left arm that is going to help you. So how are we going to get to this spiraling, which is how we're going to create better rotation? Okay? Now, this is a simple drill, and it's going to help you with rotation, and it's going to help you with the spiral. Okay, it's not going to help you with the spiral of the arms, but it's going to help you understanding how much you can truly rotate. And this is going to be eye-opening for everybody that watches this, all right? So we talked about, I set up, we're talking about posture right now. Let's pretend this is a rifle. So I put the rifle in my right shoulder area here, right in my armpit and my thing, and I'm pointing the rifle at the ball. Then you've heard me talk about point the rifle to the target, right? So now the best way to understand this, because let me do the modern swing first, and then we'll come back to what I want to show you. In the modern swing, if I reverse this, now this is what you have to feel, and you're going to feel it once we get done with this drill. So now instead of, we know where we've got to be set up, but the modern swing is right here. So instead of having the rifle in the right, I want you to put it in the left. Like you're here and you're shooting it left-handed. So now it's like the rifle's pointing to the left. So now in the modern swing, when they go up, this has to be from the left side, not from the right. When they start going up, they get to right here, and that rifle would be pointing up over here somewhere, okay? Still looks like I got a pretty good turn from here, but the second I start getting, okay, I'm rotating, I feel it, but then all of a sudden now I'm angling it up, my hip stops, my shoulder, chest area here starts going vertically instead of continuing to rotate, okay? So then everybody's like, well, you know, I have problems with flexibility, I have problems with all these different things because I can't really turn. Well, here's what most people do in the modern swing. So instead, they've got pretend like you got the rifle in your left, but when I take it away, I'm going to turn with the chest, the right side of my body or the trail side of my body. So when I turn with the trail side of my body, you can instantly see how my weight shifts over to the right. This is a very big deal of a problem, whether it's in the modern swing or in what I'm teaching you, okay? And then because you've turned with the trail side of your body to get the club taken away to here, but we're still using the rifle reference. So now that I've turned with the trail side of my body, I try to turn, oh, there's the rotation. It is gone in the lower body. And now the only choice I have from here is to lift my arms to get any possible power in the golf swing. Okay, and you can do it for yourself. Put it here, left arm, rifle down, turn with the trail side of your body during the takeaway, and then point that rifle up. Now from here, because my body is so locked to protect me, that it's very difficult to take what would be the, you know, nozzle or where the rifle would, where the bullet would come out of the gun. I can't really get that to go from here to back over here somewhere. Try it. You will absolutely be amazed. Now, let's do it right. And this is going to blow your mind because it's not, you're not going to, I'm just going to show you the right way to do it. And then you're going to be like, oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So here we go. We're going to point the rifle down. I'm not worried about the triggers and all these things. It's just an exercise to get you to feel what is absolutely needed and being correct. So all of a sudden I've got the rifle. Now my intention from here, okay, I'm going to say, look, point the rifle at the ball. Now all I want you to do is point the rifle up here as far as you can point it and look at how much I've rotated, but I am not the most flexible person in the world. So now I'm taking the rifle and I'm pointing it way back over here right now. So if we can think about this, watch this. Rifle, how do I point the nozzle of that rifle way up over here? Oh my goodness. And then when I put my hands on it, so I pointed the rifle and I've come up and I'm way up over here, right? So then all of a sudden, it's so easy to start making the transition because you are correctly wound up with the spiral staircase moving back. You are correctly wound up with truly rotating to what your true potential is. So when you can understand this, we are all capable of rotation. But what's the point of the exercise? Beyond the fact that we can all do this. When I have it set with the rifle position in the left, and I am slowly, in slow motion, moving it. It is all happening with the back side of me. My whole left side. My left side is what is turning, and you are going to feel yourself rotate around your spine. And this is what is cool, because if I'm rotating and getting this rifle up here, wherever I want, it's all being done with my left side. But if I put it here and I turn with my right side, that's as far as I can move the rifle. And then it's like, oh, wow, that's really good. Looks like it's good shoulder turn. But now I'm going to do it with the rifle and point it up here. Look at how much more it looks like I've got this massive shoulder turn on the right side of my body. But it's an illusion because you are truly, for the first time in your life, you are going to feel what it's like to have a centered golf swing right in the middle, because you are turning around your spine with the correct side of your body, which is the lead side. Okay? So now understanding rotation, and again, here's some pictures. Think about this for a minute. All the guys online, and you may know who these are, I'm not going to mention their names. This is what they look like at impact. But every single one of them are telling you, you got to get this rotation. You got to get this rotation. It is what it is. But if you look, and I promise you, every single one of these pictures that are flashing up on the screen right now, these are some of the bigger YouTube guys on YouTube. And they're saying, you got to get more rotation. You got to get this. But look at every single one of their impact positions. They are not rotating. Their chest is pointing at the ball. Their hips might be 3 to 4 degrees open. And then at the second they hit the ball, then everything opens. Why? Why? They're telling you, you got to get more rotation. They're telling you, you got to get the chest open. They're telling you all these different things. But the only thing they are all teaching you, modern swing ideas, is how to swing the arms and the hands. Okay, let me show you this. When they get to the top and they've come down to get to that same impact position, that's what they're doing. And heck, it seems for some of them, it's more like this, because this move up, down, get the club back in front of me is what they're doing. And this, to most of you, is going to look no different than my impact position. Everybody teaches us in golf with the modern teaching and the modern swing philosophies that impact is, here's address, there's impact. Here's address, there's impact. See how this would be, there's impact. So they all teach us here to there. And it's this little kind of address to impact. And that is not it. It's not even close. Because look at this. Address should be to impact. Look at that. Address to impact. Look at how the right arm is still, the right hand is still bent, trail hand. Look at how there's this bow. Look at how when I do this right and I go this way, look how I'm de-lofting the club. Because impact is here. You can see it. See how my body's open, my chest is open. It is not here. This is the weakest thing you'll ever see. And then all of a sudden with those pictures that I showed, if you rewind and go back to them, you're going to be like, if you just looked at it logically from a golfing perspective, you'd be like, there's no way in hell I want to learn from these guys. Are they good at what they teach? They absolutely are, and I'm not picking on them. But what I'm telling you is what they are showing you is not helping with your rotation. It is not helping with the spiral staircase. It is not helping with anything that you need to be doing in your golf swing if you want to become the best player that you can be. This rotation is phenomenal. The spiraling of the lead arm as you're going to the top is extremely important. So let's go back to the guys and get to their impact where nothing's open, the chest is facing the ball. What they are telling you in these movements is that if I had a baseball bat and I was going to swing, I'd have to get my arms right here. So they're doing it, their body doesn't open, their chest doesn't open, they get to right here. I guarantee you, if this was a fastball coming in right here, and I went like this, and I didn't open my shoulders, I would not be playing baseball very long. But however, just a mediocre baseball player understands, now I'm hitting from the side of my body, the chest is open, the hips are open. So why would we not want to? Everybody wants to get there in golf. They do. I will promise you right now, every single one of you watching wants to have more rotation, wants to have everything more opened up. And this is how you do it. You have to understand there is no vertical in this spiral chain. There is no not spiraling, because if I'm not spiraling, the body's spiraling, the hands are climbing with no rotation or spiraling. So if I've got the spiral of the body moving back and away, I've got the arm. Now watch what happens. I'm here, so I'm going to start spiraling. Look what is happening to my body. The second I start spiraling, look, I'm not trying to turn, guys. This is just the kinetic chain, how my mind sees it, that it absolutely works to perfection. So all of a sudden, I'm here at the end of the takeaway. Now I'm going to start spiraling. And that spiraling produces the look of the cup. But I am not trying to get here and set the hands up, which this is what it's going to look like in a lot of that David Ledbetter A-frame swing, or George Gankis this way, or they're like this. This lifting, right, at this point, creates that kind of a flat wrist. But then people get here and they're like, oh, I got to hinge that wrist. So when I get to the top, there's a bow in it. But this bow is not happening vertically, or the cup, is not happening vertically. It is happening as a result of the lead arm spiraling in a spiral pattern around a spiraling body that allows this to get to the top. And then at the top, you can see the cup. So now all of a sudden, when I'm coming down, this cup is turning down. But it's not you doing it. It's centrifugal force. It's gravity. Really, what it feels like to me when I make my swing in slow motion, it feels like I've spiraled up. And all I'm doing is going like this. All I'm doing is going like this. Because right when it turns down with the hands, gravity and centrifugal force are pulling that club head down, which is creating the bow in my hands. Is what it is, guys. So now let's talk about the spiral of the left hand a little more. If you can think about it this way, most of us get out here, modern swing, again, not with what we're learning here, but the modern swing. Most people get here and then they go like this. So they're going this way. They're kind of dumping the shaft underneath them, which for many of you, or some of you out there, when you do this, look at how far I've just flipped that club head inside, and it's underneath my arm structure, right? So it's, oh, I went this way, or I went this way. That's not it. Now watch this. This spiraling of the left arm, watch what happens. I'm here. Now I'm going to spiral the left arm. Look how this club is right on my right forearm, guys. So I'm here. I'll try to do it wrong. Bang, right on the right forearm every single time. And now because it's so spiraled at this point, now we've already learned that the spiral allows my body to rotate. So now I'm just going to keep moving around my body. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my goodness, am I in just an incredible spot to unwind coming through? And these, I'm telling you right now, these positions are world class. What you see most players do, the guys on TV, because they've lifted it up, they come down here, they drop it, and then maybe at this point, it'll be on their forearm, a little here, or somewhere in front, whatever. This is such precision because your mind and your brain understand the spiraling potential of everything that you're putting into the golf swing. Everything. And when you do it the way we're doing it, if we spiral the body, but we leave the hands like this in a flat or bowed, watch what happens. You get here, so I'm not going to spiral the hand and get the club over here. I'm just going to lift it. And the second you start lifting it, the weight will shift to the right. You'll feel it. Then there will be no rotation. It's all this arm lift. And then the only thing you've got from here is to drop it down. But what most people do, because they've got this drill with the modern swing so screwed up, they leave their back to the target for too long. So now, to correct that, it's got to rotate and drop, which gets us to there, slightly to the inside. Then they hit. Look at this. My hips are open because I don't know how not to open them. But most people, recreational golfers, they get here because they made that little bump. They're right there. You can't see. I mean, I look like I'm in the same thing as the dress, kind of. But when I do that, the club head is, I got back to this position. My shoulders are pointing left when they should be way over here, doing it our way, where you can see the back of my butt, where you could see this 90-degree angle in my arm still being maintained as it comes through. Guys, there is so much to learn, but you have to have the right information. You have to have the right understanding. This is the true potential of what you are truly capable of. It has nothing. And I mean, guys, I'm 52 years old and I am not flexible. I'm not. But I can rotate like there is no tomorrow. No tomorrow. And all of a sudden I'm here and I'm like, oh, okay. Now watch what happens with this spiral chain. I start doing it correctly. I'm using the analogy or the drill of the rifles in my left hand. So now all of a sudden I'm moving. And you can tell you're spiraling correctly because look what's happening to my lead knee. It's coming in. I'm not trying to move it in. I'm not trying to pick my foot up and move it in. Look what happens. There. Now let me get this right foot parallel to the flight line so a lot of you guys don't get upset with me. So now I'm just going to, oh my God, am I wound up? And then I've got all this pressure in my feet, this ground connection, and I have rotated more than most people are ever going to rotate in their life. And I'm telling you, I am not special. But what I do know how to do is to rotate. And it's rotation that is really, everybody talks, oh, you got to make a better turn, you got to make a better turn. No, you have to learn how to rotate better. A turn is this. And then the second I do this, 98% of the time, you are going to use, if this is my center, the trail side of your body to turn, which negates the coil of the left side. And then you get to the top with your arms and all this weak stuff. And then you try to come up with all these different ways to manipulate it. Why? It's not you. It's your brain is going in 1.2 to 2.2 seconds of motion. How, from this position, can I get more power? So some people's brains say, maybe we can do it this way. Some people's brains say, maybe I can do it this way. Some people's brains say, maybe I can do it this way. Because the brain is having to calculate and make split-second corrections to what you did. So it's trying to undo what you did and give you the best chance to come back and hit the ball. I don't know if you remember in several videos, like a couple months ago, I talked about everybody on this planet is a ball striking genius. They really are, because they're doing all this crap that goes against the way that your brain sees it, and you're able to somehow make contact with the ball. So we're all ball striking geniuses. Let's just get on the right page that allows us to become world-class ball strikers. World-class in practical application. World-class in practical dynamic movement. These are the things that are necessary in order to facilitate your growth and your success on the golf course. Because I am telling you right now, the more you can do the rifle drill and go, oh my gosh, look at how much I've rotated. Then when you look down, you are going to see that you are directly in the center of your feet, which means you have rotated and stayed center because the spiral is moving back. Now I'm not going to disengage the spiral. I'm going to spiral the hands, which gets me into this loaded, like baseball player. Here I come. So all of a sudden I'm here. Look at this. It's the same, what people are going to call a cup, but it is not a cup. It is the spiraling that stays engaged with the spiraling of the body. And now all of a sudden when I come down, I feel like I can just knock the living tar out of this ball because I'm using some of the strongest ideas and forces in the world. Rotation, levers, staying centered, and having more rotation than I ever thought possible. Okay? So there are a lot more things that are coming, guys. But if you really want to start understanding how to make these fundamentals apply to you, I'm telling you right now, get the masterclass, because it is the foundation of excellence. And I mean it, guys. I put a lot of time and my whole heart into that masterclass, trying to give you the best ways to go about, to think about, to practice, and to execute. Everybody's like, the biggest mistake that people make, they think you got to go hit balls. You got to hit balls. You got to hit balls. No, you don't. You first have to understand what you're doing. And the only way you can do that in real time is without a ball. Then, once you've mastered these motions, and I mean really have them, to where no matter what you do, you're going to take this club to the top with the left side or the lead side of your body. When you have that, then you can say, how am I going to take this back? Hey, see how everything's pushed back? So now all of a sudden when I'm coming down, everything's pushing back. This is coming around. I'm getting to the side of my body. So then when you have developed those skills of understanding of this is how the body moves, this is how my hands move, this is how this whole thing moves. Then when you're confident with those, take them to the driving range. Then from there, you'll get real confident because you know what you're trying to do. And it's not trying to do, it's you know what you want to do. And guess what? You know what you want to do. Your subconscious and you have the same clear picture. Now, let's go hit some balls. Take that to the range. Okay, well, this time, because I'm going back to my old behavior, I turn with my right side. If I turn with my right side, does that feel like this? No, it doesn't. Because if I turn with my right side, look what just happened. I'm shifting over to my right leg, too much pressure. But if I rotate with my lead side to get me to the top, now I'm so balanced, I'm so loaded, I've got all these things happening in my body like we see Mr. Hogan do with this lead knee, and then all of a sudden it's, oh my goodness, here we go. So many wonderful things are going to happen, but I am imploring you, please learn these motions without trying to hit a golf ball. You will get better. Because when you can do it in slow motion and you can see it and your eyes are seeing it and you're like, oh, be damn, I'm rotating. Here it comes down and I'm watching it, I'm watching it, I'm watching it. Look at what's happening to my body. I'm not having to think about this, but because I'm spiraling everything in the body correctly, now it's real simple for me to unspiral coming down. The golf swing is not complicated. You just have to get the right information. And is the modern swing right? Yeah. For what they're doing, it's right. In my opinion, it sucks because it's not consistent for the recreational player. It's not consistent for the avid player. They can miss it, two-way misses, hook it, pull it, balloon it, top it, you name it. There's always an inconsistent shot that shows up in the course of somebody's round. And for most recreational players, it shows up multiple times in a round. Those guys on TV from young ages have mastered this modern teaching fundamentals. But I'm telling you right now, everybody got so far away from what Mr. Hogan did because they didn't understand. And if they would have understood, you would never see any of the guys on TV swinging the way that they are now. You just wouldn't, because it is not as powerful as what it means to turn, what it means to rotate, what it means to fire, the pelvis, the legs, the core, the shoulders, together. Together. There is not a sport in this world, baseball, let's take baseball. It's not going to happen. Let's take tennis. Here it comes. It doesn't happen. It all moves together. Is one leading the way? Sure it is. But the lower body leads the way because of the winding. So watch what happens when I unwind. I'm going to do it right. There goes the right foot to the top. Now I'm going to unwind. Look what's happening to me. I am unwinding. And when I'm unwinding, my body is responding. So if I did it in real motion and then I got the float and then look at that. It gives the illusion in 2D, which is how you are looking at me right now. It gives the illusion that I've rotated. Now here comes the recenter. Now I come down. Most of you would think that is an incredibly long distance of lateral movement. But I assure you, I have not moved laterally in 1 inch. But to you, it's going to look like in a 2D perspective that I have. So guys, again, if you really want to be the best player that you can be, and I am not kidding you, the masterclass is going to propel you in the right direction with the right information that's going to allow you to maximize your ability for the maximum range of motion in what we are all capable of. All of us. It doesn't matter if you're 75. It doesn't matter if you're 18. It has nothing to do with flexibility. It has to do to how do you spiral the system correctly and how do you unspiral it. And that means everything, guys. All right? Hope this helps. We'll look for you in the next video.